What's up, everyone? Today is March 3rd, 2017. Shit. It's already 10:30 p.m. my time here in Texas. I want to go over two plays that I made yesterday, March 2nd, and today, March 3rd. The first one was the one that everybody kept on talking about, Snapchat. So this one I actually saw when I was on my way to work. I saw this from my phone, and what I saw when it opened like around 10:30, 10:20 my time, did this big spike up, pretty much squeezed up, and then just kind of retraced back because you have a lot of people taking the profits. I mean, if you're going from 23.50 all the way to 25, I mean that's almost $2 gain. So you have people taking their gains, and then it just kind of bounced off. So when I began to get interested on this was around this point because it made this bounce back here and it held this trend. So what I saw from my phone is the ABC pattern. ABC pattern. This is a pattern that I learned from Nate from Investors Underground, and pretty much explains that you have this big spike, this pullback, and then kind of like this triangular bounce, and it squeezes into a triangle. Obviously here. So I ended up going here around 24.75. So after this bounce down, then back up, that's when I went in. I do like to use indicators, but at this point, given that it was an IPO, the indicators don't really work. There's not enough data to collect, so it was based on trend. So I went in here at 24.75, and my risk was anything below $24. So it continued bouncing, and then at this point, once it breaks this resistance level, it just squeezes up. So it went up, it squeezed up, and I was still interested even though after this bounce. Um, so what I told myself is if it holds $25, which is plus or minus, then it has a really good chance of continuing higher. So although it bounced up here, many people would just take their profits. I ended up holding this and it continued bouncing. So once it held $25, I felt comfortable holding it. And once it got up to this point, around 25, I did less than $1 gain. It must have been this candle when I got out, or out here. I think it was 25.67 when I got out. That's when I got out, took my profits, and as you can see here, I think I got out too early. I could have made a little bit more, but as my boy Wall Street says, we take our profits, and that's what I ended up doing. Took my profits, continuing lower. The next day, it just pretty much gapped up, and as you can see, there's a lot more money to be made the next day. I didn't play it though. So the one I played today was JNUG. JNUG, this one's gold. And what I like about this one is that anytime it has, big drops, it recovers some, and you have green candles after a couple of days of drop. So when I began to see this was the day before yesterday is when it caught my attention because already went about 2 3 days of continuing losses. And as you can see, I even drew this trend line here. I was anticipating we're going in here. I didn't because what I noticed on the 2 hour was that it was forming this bear flag. I think it was a daily. So bear flag is pretty much a big pull or a big drop, and then a small retracement, then it continues dropping. So that's what kind of kept me away from holding this because my whole plan was to hold it for a couple days as a swing trade, and also because of the support line was obviously the next day just continued dropping, and that was yesterday, and that's when it caught my attention again because we came to another support level. So I went in this pre-market, and although I have this here, I also use charts. This is where I have my all my indicators, and so it continued bouncing. I saw this; it was kind of trending higher and higher, and that's when it caught my attention. And I came in here when it bounced off of this VWAP, so around 624. My whole goal was my risk was anything below 575, but based on price action. It did drop below my risk level 573, but again, it's all based on price action. So and the right at the open, it kind of made this big push, then just dropped. I didn't get out here because it's only a wick. Um, had it had it sit here for a while, made this sat here flat at 575, then I would have gotten out because a lot of times you have this and then it continues dropping a lot more. But this big reversal here kind of just allowed me to stay in there. My slow RSI, this is a different indicator than your typical RSI. It takes more things into account, which I like. It's very smooth. It doesn't have these sharp peaks like the your regular RSI. So this kind of made this curve, this cup shape, and it's kind of the reason I ended up staying. And then the Fed's report, Mrs. Yellen reported some news, and the thing was that the reason I anticipated this not dropping any lower was because it already dropped for a couple of days. So the news was already priced into this ETF. So I felt comfortable. I even told myself I'm gonna hold this for a couple of days. But going in here off the VWAP, it squeezed up, and I ended up getting out early, um, or almost at the top. And the reason I kind of didn't hold my goal was because once I started seeing my gains for the day, the amount of money, I ended up saying, hey, you know what? This is a good payday. I ended up getting out. And the area that I got out was once the ADX on the 3 minute time frame across this point. I'm not getting this straight. Around here. This is where I got out. Got out at 689. So one of these candles was 689 where I ended up getting out. And as you can see, this one worked perfect because my green DMI crossed the 40 mark, which pretty much is indicating that the trend it's losing its steam. So I ended up getting out almost at the top, a couple cents off the top, ended up dropping for the rest of the day. But anyways, those were my two plays for today. I did miss fold. I played this a couple times. I missed it here. I was even in the chat with one of my buddies, Roman. He mentioned that he said, "Are you going in?" He said, "You already got the indicators are telling you to go in for a short." I was trying to be greedy. I had set my alarm or my alert at 8:05. I was expecting this to go a little bit higher, which it didn't. So I missed all this potential profit, but it's okay. There's a good chance this is going to squeeze up again to fill the gap. But anyways, those were my plays, and that's it. I'm gonna get back on Monday. Over the weekend, I will study a lot and look for any more potential um, opportunities. So that's it. Talk to you guys later.